There's this Christian couple, and they were banned from adopting after saying homosexuality is a sin.
Yeah.
And then they got a payout. So it's interesting when these things ever go the other way.
Yeah, this one's
almost always go the other way. It sort of reminds me of the gay kid
This seemed like
situation.
they paid them to make them go away, because I actually agree that they should not be allowed to adopt.
What do you think about it?
Well, like their whole thing is because they're like
they went basically to the adopting place and they're like, listen, we want to adopt a baby, obviously no gay shit.
Yeah. But here's the thing.
If you give us a gay baby, I swear to God.
If you give, but their whole thing,
they would have gave you back for sure. Preemptively, they would have been like 3 months in, being like, we can already tell.
Yeah, why is this baby tap dancing so much? But this one was kind of odd because they got $3,000, which you're like, that's just like the government's like, yo, leave us alone, like whatever. But they straight up said they're like in the interview process, they already had kids, they just wanted more. Well,
they basically said if you are Christian, if you're like super Christian or Muslim or a million other things, yeah, they do all believe this.
No, I know. But here's what they said where I go like, this is why I don't.
But I'm saying if you're born to a parent like this, it's going to be the same deal, which is
but it's one thing.
Kids.
Well, yes. This is the thing. So they go, look, if our kid's gay, we're going to try and essentially change them. Conversion, which is illegal in Australia, wherever they are. But more importantly, they go, if this doesn't take, we're giving the kid back. That's where you go, okay, if you're going to give the kid back, if you can't ungay your kid, you don't get to adopt a kid. That's the one thing. Like,
sure.
Like if you go like, hey, we won't agree with their lifestyle, but we'll still keep them.
Ballsy for them to say that stuff in the interview.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the guy that goes to the job interview and he shows up and he's like, listen, we don't have to work too hard here, do we?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how long are breaks? Like those are the kind of questions you're asking.
Totally.
We get a lot of smoke breaks here. What's the talent like in the office?
You ever see, I actually watched
Sounds like a guy. It sounds like the people throwing the adoption interview.
I watched it again yesterday, but the YouTube video of the guy who does...
You have fingers crossed. You go, yeah, if he's gay, no problem. And you have fingers crossed.
Have you ever seen the YouTube video of the guy who got all these job interviews and he has like a tall can of the Zoom interviews and he has a tall can of Bud Light, like right in the frame or whatever. So he's like doing an interview and he's like, they're asking him questions. And
That's
he's
a prank?
It's a prank. Yeah, okay. He's a pretty funny YouTuber. And he's like, he has this tall can of Bud Light, but he's like, has like a shirt and tie on. Yeah. Whatever, and he's like, they ask him a question. He's like, fuck, I can't really remember. I'm pretty buzzed right now.
That's what this seems like.
But this is crazy. But this is crazy.
But if you go and you go, honey, like obviously we're going to this adoption agency, we're trying to get a kid. Let's not. We're giving them back, but let's not say the give them back stuff.
Exactly. You go, look, just between us, if the kid's gay and we can't turn him around, we're giving the kid back. But like, don't say that. That's that's I was
like, oh yeah, you start dating a girl and you're like, just so you know, if we break up, I will trash your house and be like, you just don't say that on the first date.
Yeah, you don't say that on the first date. You go, I will fucking just slander you to all your friends and just like really make your life miserable and cut your brake lines. I'm really crazy.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you too. Yes. Yeah, that's kind of what it is, though. If you're at the adoption thing, you got to be like, oh yeah, if he's gay, for sure, we're still be right part of the family, just as much as everyone else. And then you go, you and your honey, you're nudging each other under the table. We're totally gonna give him back.
Yeah, but that's crazy at the fucking
interview give him back,
to be like, yeah, if the conversion therapy doesn't take, we will be returning the child. Yeah, you're like, what? It's an actual human. You can't just do that.
Yeah, maybe they're so used to their like Christian church, they thought that would be like a plus, and they're like, oh, is that not? Is that not what we're supposed to say? They're like, actually, that was them trying to.
No, they were gonna be like, we were gonna say kill the kid, but I thought this is what you'd want us to give him back. I guess we could just kill the kid.
My buddy, I know a guy that's in the army, and he was saying that they do the army questions to say that if you're crazy or not or whatever, and the people answer them like what they think they want to answer, but a lot of the army guys are such psychos that they answer wrong. Like they'll be like, like, what would you do if 5 people come up and they're like, kill them all, right? Like, and then they're like, no, that shows you're a psycho. And he's like, I just thought, like, they thought I thought that was the one part we're supposed to do is kill them all.
I mean, sometimes it is that though. They even said with the flogger earlier, if you read further down in the flogger,
what was another flogging thing?
Well, they were straight up like, we want people who have like zero empathy. Like, you can't have any empathy to be a flogger. Oh. Which is like why it's hard to find women floggers, because like they have empathy when they're hitting a person. One of them was like, I knew the person I was flogging, because they're all totally anonymous.
And you know that they're going to flog a little less hard.
Well, they're just like, you got to be able to, like, it's your dad or your mom is getting flogged. Sure. And you just got to be like, flog's the flog.
Also, it is just like, but the idea of if you do go back and you're just like, hey, we ought to give this kid back, and you're like, what's the problem? He goes, gay. You gave us a gay
unreconcilably gay.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You can't reconcile.
But I guess that is sort of. But I mean, how many kids right now like have their parents one way, they're the other way, and vice versa. I mean, trying to kid at 14 trying to emancipate themselves because they're dad's a Scientologist
tons of
or whatever.
street. You see that, like you hear it a lot of street kids or whatever. A lot of street kids where they're like, yeah, I was just like gay and fucking my parents kicked me out for being gay.
Yeah, no, I'm sure that happens. Yeah,
yeah, but wouldn't it be better if they could just be returned?
But the bottom line is, if you're the parents and you're trying to get a kid,
you're trying to adopt.
And then the other side, if you're a kid and you have crazy religious parents, just pretend you're not gay to them until you're 60, and then get the fuck out of there.
For sure, yeah, totally. If you're like an adopted, I'm sure you're just trying to get out of a shelter.
Treat your parents like a fucking cash machine. Get what you can from them and get the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah.